There are 4 common things that people supplement with that actually disrupt the movement of iron, which is not the iron levels, the movement of it, and it adds stress to the body. When I'm talking about the movement of iron, what I actually mean is we're going down to the cellular level. So we have cells in the body, obviously, and if you're just talking about a run-of-the-mill cell, there is about 1 cell and about 500 mitochondria. Now, different areas of the body have different mitochondria. So for example, the heart, for each one of those cells has about 10,000 mitochondria. The liver has about 2,000. So there are different amounts of mitochondria per cell depending on the amount of energy that needs to be used. Now, why this is important is because when we want our mitochondria to create energy, so for example, if you're struggling with fatigue or you're struggling with a whole host of different symptoms, there's way more than just fatigue, but it's a sign that our body is not getting the energy production that it needs, and this goes back to a cellular level. When iron isn't moving, this is a sign that it's not moving through the cells. So for example, if you have low iron in the blood, then it means that it's not being absorbed properly. And this is completely different than probably what you've heard, but we have to get iron into the cell, and then we have to get iron out of the cell into the bloodstream. So most people, when they think about iron being absorbed properly, it means that we aren't getting enough of it, but we actually do have enough iron. It's just the fact that it's not being absorbed fully. There are 4 main ways that iron can be affected and that our mitochondria can be negatively affected from supplementation. The first one being iron supplements. And I know this is probably going against everything that you've ever heard, that we are low in iron and that we need more iron. Iron is the most abundant element on Earth, so that means that there is more iron than there is oxygen, and for us to be low in iron would mean that we have lost the ability, as the most evolved species, to process the biggest element on Earth. I don't understand that. So when we're thinking of, like, take for example oxygen, do you ever question whether or not your body is able to properly manage it and that it's doing what it needs, or sitting around thinking that you need more oxygen because you're just not getting enough of what there naturally is? Most people don't think like that. And so when we're thinking of iron, we can think about it in the same terms. We already have enough iron. It's just adding more stress to the body. We want to support the body in the system that it already has because it's very smart, and by supporting the movement of iron, we can do that properly. So things that iron needs to move are a protein called ceruloplasmin. This is made in the liver. Then we also need copper. Copper is critical. It's going to be the one that opens the door to the cell and lets iron on and off. And then we need vitamin A in the form of retinol, and that's critical. One of the first things that we can see being depleted is magnesium when iron and copper are dysregulated, meaning that they're at a state of imbalance. And we know this because when we are stressed, we know that we lose magnesium quickly. And so this is a form of stress that the body goes under. So the second supplement that can cause stress on the body are calcium supplements. Calcium adds stress because it depletes magnesium. So just as there is a seesaw balance between iron and copper, there's also a seesaw between magnesium and calcium. So when we begin to supplement with calcium, what happens is we start to disrupt this natural balance. And if we are already at a state of imbalance from having too much iron that's not moving, then this can be really stressful to the body. So now the next 2 are ones that the natural-minded community love to promote, so I'm sure this will be controversial, but vitamin D supplementation. I'm not saying vitamin D isn't important. What I'm saying is that it needs to be at a ratio of retinol to vitamin D. They occur naturally in things like cod liver oil. So it's at a ratio of 10:1, and that is critical because we want to make sure that our body is functioning optimally. And what happens when we take vitamin D supplements is it blocks the absorption of vitamin A because it's at an imbalanced ratio. And then it also makes iron go deeper into the organs. So again, not what we want. We don't want iron sitting in the organs. We want it moving through the body. The 4th supplementation is zinc supplementation. And this is because zinc suppresses copper. So we can actually raise zinc naturally in our body just by focusing on the movement of iron. Most people will have their zinc levels raised by focusing on making sure that iron is not dominant and that we are making sure that it's moving and that we are getting enough copper and retinol to help that movement increase. So those are the 4 most common ways that I see people have the movement of iron affected by. There's also different things like foods and ingredients that can affect the movement of iron. Let me know if you're interested in hearing about them and I will make a video for you.